In previous videos, I discussed how the law adjusted to better serve the needs and interests of women. This was especially true of the innovations that occurred during the 1800s and the early 1900s. And of course, during this time, you have the Industrial Revolution, you have various scientific breakthroughs, you have more people moving into towns and cities. With that, women find more ways to participate in commerce. But to do that effectively, they need more control over their own property, and they need more flexibility to enter into contracts. Thus, the law adjusts accordingly. The most notable of these adjustments were the Married Women's Property Acts and their various permutations in all common law jurisdictions. The first of these acts was passed by the state of Mississippi in 1839. Most U.S. states followed suit in the decades thereafter. Great Britain passed the first of its Married Women's Property Acts in 1870. It should be noted that these acts were passed by all male legislatures, thus proving once again that men have not tried to thwart women's rights throughout history. In fact, large groups of men supported these acts, and as I've discussed in previous videos, there were large groups of women who opposed some of these innovations, such as women's suffrage. Nonetheless, these innovations occurred. They greatly expanded the rights of women and their property interests. However, at the same time, the law did not adjust accordingly for men. Men continued to be bound by many of the law's ancient obligations, and this was because society had come to depend upon men fulfilling these obligations. Now, this posed a little bit of a philosophical challenge for our courts, because it would stand to reason that if women have more rights and more freedom, that men should have less responsibility. But this was not necessarily the case. There's a good case from 1916 known as Noel versus O'Neill. It is a Maryland case, and I want to read a passage from that case because I think it highlights these issues perfectly. But the court reasoned in that case that while it will be seen that the statutes in this state, upon husband and wife, enlarge the rights and privileges of the wife, they do not restrict the common law liability of the husband in many respects. Indeed, this was the case. I also cite mid-century law review articles, 1930s, 1940s, 1950s from different states, where they're still debating whether husbands are liable for their wives' torts and civil wrongs, and even for their crimes in certain cases. And of course, male obligations within marriage, financial obligations, continued for many years thereafter. So essentially, women had more rights and freedom. Men did not necessarily have less responsibility under the law.